So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Jeremy. So anyways, right, in Jeremy's class, there's this kid. And this kid is a bit of a bully. We're going to call this kid Ben. Because it used to be the thing that we'd always call the secondary character Ben in my stories. Anyways, right, so this kid Ben was just notoriously just like an annoying kid. And I don't mean like, I don't know, like everyone's a little bit annoying. Everyone is a kid at least a little bit annoying. I'm sure like even though I was definitely, I kept to myself a lot and I always was like very careful not to make anyone feel bad. Like that was like, if I made someone feel bad, I would start crying. Like I was one of those kids. But at the same time, like I'm sure I could have been annoying. But when I'm saying annoying, I mean like almost like evil annoying. Think of, if you guys have watched South Park, which if you're like under the age of 15 or 16, I don't know if I recommend you doing that. I don't think your parents would be that happy. But if you know who Eric Cartman is, well, this kid was basically Eric Cartman, but in real life form. And this kid had never watched South Park, so he wasn't even like copying Eric Cartman. This kid was just like Eric Cartman. He was annoying, but he was like evil and like a bully at the same time. So this kid had been like notorious for the longest time in Jeremy's grade. This kid would always be playing like pranks. He'd always be making fun of people. But as the years went on, he would step up his game more and more. Yeah, so sure enough, right, the subscriber one day was starting the 5th grade. So every single year, Ben, the evil, annoying kid, we're just going to call him Ben, just remember that description. Every single year, he got worse and worse. So yeah, they were all starting 5th grade, and they all had the same English class together. So Jeremy, Ben, and a bunch of other kids. So they get there on the first day, and on the very, very first day, Ben has already decided to pull a prank on their teacher. So their teacher is a new teacher, right? You know, whenever you're a new teacher, I feel like you're under a lot of pressure to perform because like you're trying to show off that, yes, I am actually capable of doing this job. Like I can actually do it. You guys can trust me with this task, if you know what I mean. So yeah, sure enough, the teacher is already off to a bit of pressure. But on the very, very first day, the teacher had like lectures prepared or whatever, or maybe just like a class plan and had some stuff ready. Anyways, Ben, basically the Eric Cartman kid, was somehow like looking around to pull a prank on the teacher. So he got in the class about 10 to 15 minutes before. And the teacher must have had their plan and all the materials necessary for their plan on the desk. So what Ben did is before class and before the teacher got there, because the teacher had everything laid out for the first day of class to go perfectly, Ben had gone in and stolen all the items. So the plan and anything they needed to do. The subscriber didn't tell me exactly what the plan was, so I don't have specific details, which by the way, if you want to submit your own story, you can do so to by going to Instagram, looking up Connor Pugs, and then following me and then DMing me your story. Anyways, though, so yeah, on the very first day, Jeremy and Ben and all the other kids sit down and the teacher comes into class and is like, hey guys, you know, I'm Mr. Davenport or Miss Davenport. I actually don't know what gender the teacher was. We'll just say Miss Davenport. Like, hey guys, my name's like Miss Davenport. Like, I'm new here and this is like, I'm so excited to teach you guys today. And she goes to turn to her desk and yeah, sure enough, all of her stuff is missing. Little correction, not all of her stuff is missing. Like she had a laptop and she had some other stuff. I just mean anything that was important for the very first day of class was missing. So yeah. So like Miss Davenport turns and Jess is like, and is just like looking at her desk and sees nothing. Yeah, so Miss Davenport is like low-key freaking out a little bit. She's kind of just like what's going on right now? Like, and she's like, okay, class, well, I seem to have misplaced the plan I had for today. And you guys might be thinking, well, like, it's not that big of a deal. Just, you know, I don't know, just like think on your feet. Well, guys, like if you have to like entertain basically and structure out 5th grade class for an entire 50 minutes, that's really hard to do off the top of your head, especially if you're a new teacher. Maybe if this happened to some veteran teacher who's been in the business for like 30 years, 40 years or something, I'm sure that they could like figure out something to do. They could figure it out. And also if they were farther into the year, if like Miss Davenport was missing like material for one day, she would probably just be able to teach like the next day's material. Anyways though, so like the teacher had planned like, I don't know, probably like bonding games where you're like you would go into like icebreaker game type things. You go into small groups or whatever. So that, Ms. Davenport was a little bit freaking out at this moment. She's like, I don't really know what's going on right now. Like, this isn't great. So yeah, sure enough, right? The subscriber's like kind of feeling kind of bad. Like Jeremy's like doesn't know exactly what happened, but that's when he just happens to catch a glance of like Ben, and he just sees Ben with this smug little grin on his face. Ben knows that he's caused all this chaos, he's caused all this mischief, and at this point, Jeremy doesn't realize what Ben has done, but he realizes that something's up. So anyways, eventually Ms. Davenport just kind of figures it out, and like she's definitely thrown off her game a little bit, but has people go into groups and like say fun facts about themselves. So she definitely like recovered, but definitely a tough start to the day. Anyways, though, after class, Jeremy goes up to Ben and is like, yo, like, why were you smugly smiling the entire time in class today? Like, that's a little sus, bro. Like, that's a little weird. And Ben is just looking at him, and he's like, oh, you're not going to believe what I did. So Ben goes on and explains exactly what he did, and Jeremy's like, dude, why? Yeah, dude, basically at this point, Jeremy is just confused why Ben is just being such a Cartman, basically. If you know, you know. But also, he wasn't, like, majorly surprised. It just seemed really out of, like, just, like, why? Like, this teacher's new. She hasn't even done anything against us. Like, at the end of the day, if the teacher was, like, intentionally giving them bad grades or just being really mean, then Jeremy would have definitely looked the other way and been like, that's tough. Like, Ben's gonna do what Ben's gonna do. But at this point, it just seems super unwarranted. So you guys might have thought that was kind of a bad prank to pull on the teacher, but Ben is about to one-up himself in a way that is really, really bad. Like, really bad. So prepare yourselves. That's all I'm going to say. If you made it this far into the video, comment prank down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. I'm going to try and heart as many comments as I can that say prank, so make sure to comment prank. Also, if you happen to use Spotify, make sure that if you use Spotify that you're also listening to these stories on Spotify too. Link in the description and pinned comment if I can remember to do the pinned comment. If you want to submit your stories, these are all subscriber-submitted stories, thank you very much, go over to Instagram right now and look up Connor Pugs. I'm verified on there, got a bunch of followers. Follow me and then DM me your story. And finally, of course, leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing. And so Ben was back to his pranks, right? Ben was onto something pretty bad. So this is about a month into school. This teacher, here's the thing. Jeremy isn't really a fan of, pranking your teacher like that. But at the same time, Jeremy does admit to me that the teacher, Miss Davenport, was, she was really trying to like prove herself. And what I mean by this is that Miss Davenport was really trying to be like, oh, these kids can't push me around. I'm a teacher. I have what it takes. And she was really doing this because she was such a new teacher. So when there's new teachers, they normally go one of two ways. So the first way is they need to they're just fresh out of school. They're kind of like, let me be chill with the kids. When I was in school, my favorite teachers would always be super chill with us. Kind of along that route, kind of the route of, I want to be the teacher that I always loved. Because I really always, now when I'm older, I actually have a lot more appreciation for teachers that are stricter and harder, not cruel, but that actually care about my education. But definitely back in the day, if the teacher was boys with me and would let stuff slide, that was my favorite teacher. But there's another route that new teachers tend to go as well. And that's the one where they're overly strict because they are really caring about what the faculty think since they're new. And, the faculty probably aren't going to appreciate someone who's slacking off and not doing the job, right? I think an older teacher who's kind of whatever, they're fine with it. But sometimes newer teachers overcompensate because they're so new. Yeah, so sure enough, unfortunately, Miss Davenport decided to take the route of overly strict and not a very fun teacher, and really was doing stuff where it's not super necessary. I'm not saying overly strict when you don't do your homework, she punishes you. Not like standard teacher behavior where they're really supposed to do it, right? Especially in the younger years. But I mean, she was going out of her way to just not be cool, right? So Jeremy does admit this. However, Jeremy is not saying that what happened next was okay at all. In fact, just a disclaimer from me, the following is actually a little gross. Like if you're easily grossed out, I have so many stories that are probably appearing on the YouTube recommended sidebar. This might be the time to pick up one of those stories instead of this one. I'm not going into crazy detail or anything. It's really not that bad. I just want to let like the really easily queasy viewers, I just want to give them a heads up. So, a few times on this channel, I have told stories of crazy kids putting like laxatives in like the school lunch. If you don't know what a laxative is, sometimes you need help going number 2. Sometimes there's some blockage. Sometimes you just need to clean out your system. So this is like strong medicine in a way. It's not technically medicine, but you know what I mean. It's like a strong medicine that I think it can be very tasteless too. And it basically really makes you go number 2, but like crazy number 2. And sometimes it's uncontrollable. And it's definitely something that you don't want to unexpectedly find in your coffee. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Yes, Ben's about to go crazy, man. Yeah, so sure enough, right, the subscriber, Jeremy, one day was in class. This was about a month later, right? And Jeremy has been dreading this class every single day of the week because it's just like, you know, the teacher, once again, Ms. Davenport, is really overcompensating for being new, as I was explaining earlier. Anyways, though, Ben sits down, and Ben, who also didn't really like this class, something was different today. Ben sat down with the same smug smirk on his face that he had on the first day of school. He's not had anything close to a smile for the last month because everyone does not like this class. So Jeremy picks up on this immediately and leans over to Ben's like, dude, question mark, like, what's up? And Ben's like, dude, just wait and see. Just wait and see. And Jeremy's like, okay. And Ben at this point didn't even need to explain what was going to happen because it was, in his mind, super obvious. Anyways, Miss Davenport takes a sip of her coffee. Big mistake. Oh yeah, guys, yeah. It's like when you're playing chess and like you lose the game and you put it into an engine. It's like, oh yeah, your mistake right there was moving your pawn forward. It's like, really? That was my mistake? 52 moves ahead, I lost? Yeah, big mistake here was taking a sip of coffee. Yeah, huge mistake. Blunder. Yeah, so anyways, right, Miss Davenport is kind of just standing up, blunder number 2, but standing up at the board, pointing to something like, now we're going to, like, read this, and, like, did you guys do the reading? Like, I'm going to pop quiz you. Just kind of, like, super unnecessary stuff. And remember, okay, disclaimer, I think I said this before, I am not justifying these actions. This is very clearly not something to do. This is like very clearly bad. Don't do this, whatever you do. I think I say this sometimes like, look, I'm just telling stories. I'm not endorsing this, not even in the slightest am I endorsing this, okay? So, this is I can't believe I'm telling this part of the story. How do I put this, guys? How do I put this? So Ms. Davenport is standing up at the front of the class, and you just hear a really loud fart. And, you know, that happens, man. Sometimes that happens. It's a little tough because the room was mad silent, and then you hear from like the room, and you know who it is. And Miss Davenport just tries to play it off like nothing's happening, right? She's trying to play it off like nothing is happening right now. And yeah, so like Ben's face just lights up and the whole room starts to giggle. Dude, it's 5th graders. Okay, I even think my college class, like if I was in a class in college and my teacher just let one rip that was so heinously loud, it sounds like you were farting down the Grand Canyon, then yeah, you know what? Maybe we would lose our composure of intellectual adults and laugh a little bit, right? But the following was much worse. Because that one fart was followed by a chain I don't even want to get into extreme detail about this, but followed up by just a chain reaction of uncontrollable diarrhea. Yeah, I'm not going into any more detail, but let me just say that it was terrible. It was so bad. And Miss Davenport runs out of the classroom. It's not clean in the classroom anymore, guys. And the whole class, the girls are like, ow, what? Like, and all the guys are just like cracking up. They find it so freaking funny, dude. And yeah, so eventually, like, staff comes in as well as a cleaning crew. So the cleaning crew, like, cleans up the classroom, and the staff is like, kids, like, I want, do whatever you were doing before. Read from chapter whatever your teacher said, trying to, like, calm the chaos. But there was 0% chance they were going to calm the chaos. The whole class was freaking out. They're just like, oh my God, Miss Davenport just crapped her pants. Like, there was no stopping the, bro, like, there's no stopping that. Like, there's simply no stopping that stuff right there. So yeah, the title is not a lie. Kid makes teacher quit, or something along the lines of that, right? That's not a lie, by the way, guys. So due to the sheer just like level of embarrassment of the situation, Miss Davenport requested like to be moved because she like worked with some like program that would like get her a job as a teacher or something. He basically requested the program to be moved over a school district because she said that like that situation was like like you could not even like, it was just so bad. And the thing is too, Ben never got caught. Ben was also kind of smart about it that the only person he ever told was Jeremy, and Jeremy is not about to tell someone. It just seems unnecessary. So Ben got away with it. That does not mean you should do it. Guys, please. Oh my God. If like a New York Times article, subscriber or YouTuber tells kids to put laxatives in their teachers' cups to make them crap their pants in class, like I'm actually going to quit my channel. So don't do it. Subscribe if you're new. Bye.